I had an accident last night.
Okay.
I was showing an old friend of mine how to use this gun that she was needing, that she asked for, and it went off and shot her in the chest.
So this right here is pretty painful, right? I get it. There's the 4 rules of safety that we all have ingrained into our brains. But to those of you who have issues memorizing things verbatim, I'm going to give you Brop's common sense gun safety tips. So that way, nothing like this ever happens to you. Now, this looks like the kind of guy who would just be like typical boomer that has been around guns his entire life. This is the kind of people that don't really think that this kind of stuff could happen to them until it does. First thing, if you're a brand new gun owner, that you have to remember is these things generally 99% of the time, 99.9% of the time will not go off by themselves. It's the trigger that you always have to worry about. So if you ever try, if someone ever hands you over a gun and then you immediately go trigger finger on the trigger, then you can expect some dumb shit like this to happen to you. Okay? For example, here he broke multiple of those rules, which was at some point he squeezed the trigger, and then at some point this was pointed at something he was not intending to destroy. That's 2 out of the 4 that were just violated, and obviously that's what happened. So first rule of Brop's common sense gun safety is simple: stay the fuck away from the trigger, man. Don't even if you have to hold the gun in an unnatural way without a master grip. This is what we call a master grip. Even if you're safer just holding the gun like it's a cum rag, do that, right? Hold the gun like it's a cum rag. The other problem is a lot of people tend to have issues with negligent or accidental discharges because the weapon was falling and then I grabbed it, and as I was grabbing it I squeezed the trigger because I was trying to catch it in the air or whatever. So if that's the case, just try to get a good firm grip somewhere. If you don't feel comfortable holding it, try to point it somewhere safe. Grab it, stay the fuck away from that trigger. That's if you have to hold it. I can't tell you how many times I've held a gun like this, point it down at the ground, and hey, here you go, boom, hand over the gun like this, no worries, right? Because it's pointed down at the ground, the trigger is not exposed to any of my fingers, and my hand is not covering the muscle either. So it's just like, hey, here you go, and then someone else can grab the gun and then have enough space to transfer the gun, and that'd be too easy, right? So someone hands you over a gun, and I've done videos about this before when I was living in New Hampshire. I'll probably link it down because it's a good fucking video, man. Someone hands you over a gun, right? And if you want to get a master grip on it, sure. If you don't feel comfortable with it, then just grab it in a different way. Grab it like that. Stay the fuck away from the trigger, right? Second thing that you got to worry about is this thing cannot shoot unless it has bullets in it, right? So one thing that you would have to do is figure out a way safely to find out whether this thing has what we know as a magazine inserted in the firearm, and see where you could push the button, but not the trigger. Push the button to release it. In the case of this is a Glock simunition pistol, right? It doesn't have real bullets. So you would find the button right fucking there, right? Press the button, release it, boom. Now magazine is out. Now this doesn't mean that this gun is safe, because we still have to figure out if there's a bullet in the chamber, right? I have a particular trick to know whether or not there's a bullet in the chamber by the extractor. You can watch that video. I'll link it down in the description. But if you don't know that trick, the other thing that you'll have to do, and this is gets a little bit more tricky, and you're gonna have to be a little bit more confident, is again find a safe direction to point the firearm, relatively safe direction, and then you're gonna have to try your best to look inside the chamber one way or another, right? Stay the fuck away from that trigger. Now, normally what you would want to do is actually have a proper grip, right? But if you're that concerned that your trigger finger is going to actually engage the trigger, then okay, we'll just try to figure out a way to check inside the chamber. Point it in a safe direction, not to your friend, okay? Just point it in a safe direction, and if you can, lock the slide to the rear, try to lock the slide to the rear. This right here is the slide, barrel, frame. And then what I like to do is I do the 2-finger test, which is my pinky, I look and I feel inside the chamber. I see the ring of oil or whatever around my finger, and then simultaneously in the magazine, the two fingers in the hole. I don't know. Give it a nice sexual innuendo if you want. 2 fingers, 2 holes, or you can do 2 fingers in 1 hole. Sometimes that helps too, and then 1 finger. Right now, we can 100% rest assured that this weapon is safe, right? And we didn't have to memorize the 4 rules of gun safety, right? If you have issues memorizing things like I do, but this is mostly just for new gun owners, right? So now that is how you handle clearing a Glock pistol. Now we're gonna go over what it would be like to clear a platform that I'm not a stranger to, but I'm just relatively fresh with at actually having, right? This is an Airsoft 2011 Terran Tactical Pit Viper, and the only difference between, well, there's a lot of differences between this and the Glock platform, but in essence, the only thing that really is different from one to the other is that this one has a safety right here and an external hammer, right? Outside of that, it's pretty much about the same. So what you'll do, someone hands it over to you. I'm going to assume you're not a fucking idiot at this point. So I'm just going to continue to use my master grip. And then from here, find the button that releases the magazine. Someone hands it over. Oh shit, is this loaded, dude? Go fuck yourself. Boom. Magazine. Remove the magazine. And now with this platform, you cannot rack the slide unless the safety is off, right? So that is kind of a fucking crazy concept, right? Because like, let's say there's a round in the chamber here. If you wanted to get that round out of the chamber, out of the barrel, you would technically have to put that weapon on fire in order to slide, in order to be able to get it to rack back. But at the same time, if you're a fucking idiot, what you could do is end up squeezing the trigger like a fucking idiot again. This is kind of a tricky situation because 1911 triggers tend to be a little bit more touchy than Glock triggers. Glock triggers have a little bit of a wall that you have to defeat, so you really got to be purposeful about squeezing a Glock trigger. But with a 1911 to 2011, you're kind of there, right? Again, let's take it from the top. Get a 2011 pass to you. Remove the mag. Now you're going to have to put it on fire. Then get your fucking finger off the trigger. Get it away from it completely. It's on fire, and if there's a round in there, you're just gonna grab. Round comes out. Boom. Now there's nothing here. And then what you could do is you could actually like lock it to the rear, like that. And now you can do the 2 fingies, the fingies check. All right. After you figure out that it's safe, good to go, let it go forward, put the safety back up, and then you're good to go. Or you can just put it on fire and then squeeze the trigger slowly and then ride the hammer forward if you wanted to, and then the hammer will be forward. That's 1911s and 2011s right there. Alright, put it back on safety. Let's talk about ARs, because I don't think I have any bolt actions here. Man, what did you get so heavy? Fucking Christ. Again, it's an AR. Aero precision. Someone hands it over to you. Again, with ARs, it's probably a little bit easier than pistols because there's so much. Obviously, the weapon system is considerably bigger than a pistol, so you really don't have to worry too much about the trigger and negligent discharges. All you really would have to do is follow the same steps. Be like, what is this fucking thing? That is the magazine. Where's the button to release it? Should be this one. Alright, cool, let's press it. Oh, there we go. Magazine is out. Alright, cool. You don't even have to have a master grip on the pistol grip for this. You can just literally do everything that you need to from a distance if you really don't feel comfortable handling a rifle at all. But at least you'll be able to render it safe so you don't end up shooting your fucking friend. Like, fuckface over here. I mean, props to him for turning himself in. But, yeah, dude, this is something that's 100% avoidable if you're not a fucking idiot, right? And that's the biggest thing about handling firearms. Don't ever get complacent to the point where you think you know everything about the status of the weapon at all times, to the point that you stop thinking consciously about it, because that's when shit like that happens. I have been able to operate my firearms while being almost damn near blackout drunk, like streaming on Twitch. A gigantic bottle of Moscato that I drank because I'm a soccer mom, apparently. And I can tell you that even being extremely under the influence, when I held my my pistol and I was clearing it, I immediately, it was like, yeah, I'm still really fucking drunk, but guess what? The rules never change. And any kind of negligent incidents should never happen, regardless of whether you were intoxicated or not. This never changes. So if you're heavily intoxicated like I was during that Twitch stream, I was able to handle my firearm completely fine, because it was, hey, time to focus. I'm heavily intoxicated, so hey, let me clear this pistol, put it down, boom, no problem. And then go back to being belligerently drunk. Especially if you're showing someone how to operate a firearm. If you're going to show someone how to operate a firearm and you kill them in the process, I mean, it's hard to argue that you did not show them how it works, because, hey, this is how it works. But, I mean, I guess you accomplished. I guess you accomplished the goal. It's like that meme. It's like task failed successfully or something. But anyways, back to the rifle. So we got rid of the mag, right? Now we gotta find out whether or not there's a bullet in the chamber in this rifle. And the beauty about that is that you have the charging handle right fucking here. What you have to do is pull it back. Boom. Hold it if you're strong enough. And if you want to keep it back, then you would have to go to the other side. Then find this nifty little paddle, in my case a bad lever, and just engage it from one side to the other. Rifle is unsafe. Engage it from one side and then go back. Now it's locked to the rear. And now you can perform the fingies test. Fingies. And then, I mean, getting your fingy cut with a bolt from an AR kind of sucks. So try to do a little visual inspection there. You can try to do fingies as well, but that's about it, right? Now, if you're gonna teach someone how to operate a firearm, for the love of God, damn it, don't kill them with it. I guess you are showing them how it works, but that's a little bit counterproductive and against the whole purpose of why you would want to show someone how a gun works. Unless it was a criminal. That'd be a fucking meme. If it was, so you want to see how this fucking gun works? Bam. Right on. Friend, wife, dog, not so much. So, this was common sense gun safety tips from Brops. And if you're watching this and you're an experienced gun owner, I don't know why you're watching this. Like, leave. And if someone sent this to you, then that means that you have been identified as a brand new gun owner. So congratulations on that. Or that you have been identified as needing retraining. So this was your refresher. Make sure that you continue to build on top of this and actually try to learn the 4 gun safety rules and apply them into your life. Because otherwise, you don't want to be like fucking Bob over here. What is his name? Brian Mason. You don't want to fucking Brian Mason your dog, you know? Try not to. It's frowned upon. Kind of a waste. But anyways, that's all I got for you. Be safe out there. Make love to your woman. And yeah, don't shoot your friend.